pack, the nickel charts on the LME look dreadful. And we also do not rule out the possibility of prices eventually testing 12,800 on the LME. On the MCX, we believe that 790 is on the radar, and we expect prices to come around 790 in the coming days. So we have a sell strategy for nickel, where we prefer to sell nickel at 810 levels, keeping a target of 790 and 794, 793, and a stop loss of 820.5.
Hitesh, also, how would you look at the natural gas prices? Because we've seen a decline in crude. How are you looking at the energy space now?
See, natural gas prices on the NYMEX have once again breached the crucial support of 3.8, and we expect some selling pressure to remain intact. And so on the MCX, we prefer to sell around 223 to 224 levels, keeping a target of 215 to 17 levels.
All right, Hitesh, we'll let you go at that. Thank you so much for joining us with your strategies on those commodities. So that's the view coming in from IFL, sell on nickel and natural gas for the intraday market there. With that, it's back to you, Megha.
Thanks very much for that, Manisha, for getting us the latest as far as commodities go. But let's also focus in on Ranbaxy, because there's significant relief coming in for the company. Remember that a public interest litigation had been filed against Ranbaxy, and they said that, in fact, the PIL was asking for a ban on the medicines that were manufactured by the company. But the Supreme Court has dismissed that PIL, and you can see the stock as well reacting very smartly. In fact, it had hit a fresh 52-week low in today's session and up by about 0.5% right now. Do remember that a petitioner had filed, Mr. ML Sharma had filed a plea in the Supreme Court saying that Ranbaxy was selling substandard drugs. He had backed it up with the admission that Ranbaxy has also recently made in front of the US FDA. Remember that they had pleaded guilty to the charges of selling adulterated medicines. They had also paid a fine of they had settled the case in US at least for $500 million. So the litigator was using that also as evidence for his PIL. What he did say was that the company had knowingly sold substandard drugs around the world, including in India, Africa, as well as the United States, and in fact they were also deceiving the regulators and of course cheating cheating customers as well as cheating patients. The stock as well is of course taking rather well to this particular news. You've got volume action as well that will reflect the momentum that we've been seeing. Remember that Ranbaxy has been a stock under awful lot of pressure. In fact, over the last 1 month or even the last 5-day chart would show you the kind of pressure the stock really has been under. That's the last 7 days for you. 13% is what we've shaved off. Even over the last 1 month, we've lost close to 15%. So at least there's some marginal bit of recovery at least coming into the stock as of now, after the Supreme Court, of course, has dismissed that PIL that was filed against the company. The fact that the US Fed, as well as the action that the US FDA has been taking against the company, and the fact that a lot of its plans have also been under the scanner by the US FDA, that's worn out rather heavily on the company. In fact, we've also got an analyst now joining in on the show, Ranjit Kapadia, who's a Senior Vice President for Institutional Research at Centrum Broking, joining in to give us his quick take on this development that's come through. Ranjit, thanks very much for talking to us. The stock is taking quite well to the news that the Supreme Court has dismissed the PIL. Would you say that this has gone in the direction you expected? Did you see any basis to the PIL in the first place?
I think the PIL was without any adequate information, because the petitioner Manohar Lal Sarma has sought sealing the company's manufacturing facilities at Devas and Ponta Sahib, as well as it has also asked for seizure of entire properties of directors. And the judges, learned judges, have said that without any proof or concrete proof, the case cannot be heard. So there were no proofs. It is based only on the reports on the press, which the petitioner has filed a case in the Supreme Court. And it has the petitioner didn't have any substantial information or material facts to substantiate his case.
All right, and how do you expect the news to really pan out on the stock? We're seeing the stock edging higher in trade, but do you expect some more upside coming in?
No, I don't think any major upside, because the thing is that this was known that there won't be any major development happening at this stage, because the court cannot take a decision based on just a printed matter which is either in the press or this. unless there is a substantial evidence which proves that the company has done a great violations.
If you just look at the stock as well, 3% higher right now is how Ranbaxy is trading. It's recovered close to 11% from the lowest point of the day. Remember, it was in danger of breaking the 300 mark as well. 334 is the last traded price for Ranbaxy. But Ranjit, we've also got certain reports that were suggesting that the US FDA may have given Form 483 to its Mohali plant as well. In case this